Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Technology Snapshot, Industry 4.0 in Southeast Asia. My name is Daniel James. I'm the founder of Arctiv Technologies and co-founder of Olympia International Consulting. Okay, let's get started. Industry 4.0 has been a hot topic for several years now. We've all been preparing for it, and people have been trying to define what the new technologies could be. And there's been lots of discussions for at least the past 2 or 3 years that I've been part of to outline a lot of these automation technologies, remote management systems, and so on. But the industry has been pretty slow to adopt it across the board. There really hasn't been an urgent need for a lot of the infrastructure investment, and a lot of people have been really waiting for 5G to be deployed before really doubling down on any quick hit technologies right now. However, we now live in the era of COVID-19, and this has pulled forward by several years the demand for a lot of these systems, and we're already starting to see this today, especially for industrial and even retail and restaurant applications. A lot of companies are looking for technological solutions to allow them to stay alive. So they need to find things that are quick hit, reasonable cost, that they can use in the existing infrastructure, the existing telecom infrastructure that's in place today. So in this snapshot, I want to discuss sort of the roadmap to digitalization of these businesses, and then what that can do to help get companies operational today, and then position them for success in the long term. In one of our other sessions, we discussed the impact of COVID-19 across Southeast Asia. So if you haven't attended that, I highly recommend you do that already. And then we also have a session where we discuss the rollout of 5G, and certain countries across Southeast Asia are taking a lead on the early development and integration into the networks. So you're going to see a pretty wide mix of countries based on their, number one, impact of COVID-19 to the country and the immediate need that they have. Number two, the network infrastructure. Do they already have 5G in place, or are they going to be using 4G indefinitely? And then number three, what is the maturity of the businesses and the development of digitization already? So where are they starting from? If so they have a very slow start, then there's going to be a much more significant investment to get to that point. That could be very difficult, for them to get past in the short term, versus countries which have already significantly digitized, or maybe they just need to add a few systems and procedures in place that can really leverage the type of technologies that they've already got. Okay, let's first discuss this roadmap of the digital transformation, and then we can discuss what that can mean for different countries. So the digital transformation for a company really has about 6 levels, and every country and companies within those countries are going to be at various stages, but there's 6 guiding principles to help define where they're at on this journey. Level 1 is unconnected. So that's the 20th century style business. They're planning for IoT. They have some internal systems in place, and they maybe even have some robotics and some capabilities, but it's all self-contained systems. And then level 2 is connected, where you have devices, sensors, and it can all be fed to the cloud. This is where a lot of companies are at today. They have some capabilities to perform measurements within the facility or within their business, and then they can efficiently manage it out in the cloud. And there's not really the need for low latency communications with this type of equipment. So the cloud management actually works for them. Now, level 3, this gets into the service and remote monitoring. And you can see I put a line here where it says COVID-19, a vertical line. And this is really the most critical point for a lot of businesses right now, which is, how do you get from level 2, where we have some connected sensors and connected capabilities, but now can we get to the point where we can remote manage everything? So this means having IIoT implemented throughout the facility or throughout your network system, and then also having the security and even scalability functions where you can feel comfortable with the system being contained without any personnel involved with it, and also, the scalability for future expansion. So is this a tightly controlled infrastructure, or can I add to it over time? So this is really the most critical component right now for many regions across Southeast Asia. In some countries, they're really moving to a permanent remote workforce. And so a lot of the new systems that they're going to put in place to manage in that environment, in an odd way, they're actually forcing themselves to take a leap forward into the journey that they were going to end up anyway. So we're not trying to say COVID-19 is a good thing by any means, but it's really forcing a lot of companies to digitize early, and they're now going to be implementing these new business practices just as a permanent way of doing business. So you can feel pretty safe making an investment into the remote monitoring capabilities for both the network, also your equipment, and then the communications for your employees. So that's really where we have to get to right now. We're seeing that in the education sector. We're seeing it in public sectors, smart city technologies. I mean, basically every major industry is going to need some version of this. Okay, then once you have that, getting to the next level, level 4, is analysis. And that's where you're taking all this data from these remote systems, and then you can compile it and collaborate in some way for a real-time analysis. And companies are going to be able to learn more about their businesses, about their customers, and just about every element of their business that they probably weren't even studying or weren't even aware of before, but now they have the information that they can have some better insights into what's going on. And then that gets them to level 5, which is integration. And this is business process optimization. At this stage, level 5, this is where your artificial intelligence is going to have a bigger play. So this means now you're having the analytics, you have the dashboards in place, you have the ERP systems and all the business analytics set in place, but in many times those systems don't talk to each other. Okay, a lot of times they can be their own independent systems. So artificial intelligence is going to be very important to clean up that data and then compile it, and then being able to have, we'll say, multivariable, multidimensional analysis that are far beyond what the average person could ever conceive. The human's ability to understand information is really limited to a few different variables. Once you exceed 3 or 4 different variables, our brains are just not really able to interpret it too well. So we can't really see the trends. It gets really beyond our capabilities. AI can operate to thousands of variables. And so there's going to be tons of insights that AI can dissect and illustrate to managers to really have a full comprehension of the internal operations of their company. And then also it can self-improve or self-optimize using all this information. So that's going to be a revolutionary stage right there at level 5, where the system is almost like the self-correcting, self-analysis, self-healing system. And then the final level, level 6, is innovation. And this is where the business transformation and customer loyalty is a unique shared experience. So your customers are interacting with your business through virtual reality, augmented reality. They don't even have to directly go into your company, but they can interact with your business systems. They can even customize the type of product they want. Their experience is going to be a very unique experience just in and of to them. So being able to have that type of experience offered to your customers is going to create an enhanced level of loyalty that they won't go anywhere else. I mean, that's a very unique relationship you're building with them. And so this is really the roadmap of where digital transformation and innovation around that can get to. So some countries across APAC, the more mature countries, Japan would be one that comes to mind. has a lot of businesses that are at the level 3 already. Even for a factory, they may have a lot of remote management. That, the labor costs are very high there. In fact, any country where the labor costs are extraordinarily high on a comparative basis, in many cases they already have that level 3 monitoring baked into their systems today. They've had to pull out the labor just to manage the cost. So they've automated, they have remote monitoring. Now they're going to be more focused on the analytics and then safety and integration and so on. But for many countries that are traditionally best cost countries, they're probably more in the level 2. They really haven't had an urgent need to get to level 3 historically. And so now they're going to have to make some investments or change their business makeup to get to that point. So that's really where you have to look at, is your business, already level 3, and then maybe you're looking to go to level 4, level 5 as a competitive advantage? Or are you level 2 and you really need to get to level 3 just to stay alive? As a business, you really have to protect your workers. You have to operate within the guidelines of your local country or your local municipality. So how do you do that in the most efficient and effective way? So that's really the challenge for a lot of companies as part of this Industry 4.0 journey. Okay, and then how is IIoT being adopted in manufacturing? So if you look at the pie chart today, this was pre-COVID-19 and in the mature markets. So the mature markets that are early adopters of IIoT, where did they park their money? Who's buying it and who's using it? Well, the industrials are the largest, and then at 26%, and then automotive or in-vehicle technologies at 12%. And then it's pretty evenly distributed after that. Smart home, networking, energy, utilities, aerospace, medical, and energy and utilities, aerospace and defense, medical, and retail, and many others. What's interesting is that retail, was a small sliver of the pie, but we're already seeing technologies within retail being tested and adopted. So retail might have started off small, but because of COVID-19, that might be a huge driver for that to leapfrog forward. Okay, and then the right half of the chart, it says, when will IIoT systems be incorporated? So the light blue are the industries that are already using IIoT today. So they would make up the pie chart on the left. And of that group, energy and utilities is the largest adopter at over 50%. Now, the total net is small in the pie chart on the left. However, the percentage within that industry is the highest. Number 2 is healthcare, followed by transportation, and then industrial automation. So industrial automation is the largest percentage of the total of actual dollars spent for IIoT. However, as a percentage of industrial automation as a whole, it's number 4. And then retail, networking, smart home, automotive, and aerospace follow suit. So it's helpful to know sort of where the adoption rate is at and where is this relevant. Now, all this data is 2019, so this is all pre-COVID-19. However, it is good to know where's the greatest value for IIoT and the remote monitoring and all that. Then you can see over the next 1 year and 3 years where the concentration's going to be at. So it's a little more evenly distributed over the next 1 to 3 years. Very helpful chart to understand that. So industrial IoT delivers the greatest value for energy, utilities, healthcare, transportation, industrial automation, but in total, the dollars spent has really been skewed towards industrial automation. So industrial IoT delivers the greatest value for energy and utilities, healthcare, and transportation, and finally industrial automation based on the percentage of people who are buying it today. But the total opportunity is still skewed way heavily in favor of the industrial. However, going forward, because of COVID-19, you're going to see a lot more investment on the retail and medical side. And then the networking is also going to be a large component in the future because of all the remote operations of all these systems coming online at the same time, in addition to the live streaming video for all the video conferences, I would be more bullish on those segments over the next 6 to 12 months than even the traditional industrial. Okay, thank you for attending. If you have any questions, please book a 30-minute Ask an Expert call with myself by going to our website at www.olympiaic.com and click on our one-on-one consulting. And if you haven't yet, sign up for our 2020 Edge Computing Workshop, Southeast Asia Edition. This is a technology crash course designed for industry professionals. We cover many topics of new technologies and markets for Southeast Asia, especially in the era of the global pandemic. And it can be viewed on demand from anywhere around the world. We offer these sessions in basic, pro, or expert level curriculums. In the basic, we cover the impact of the edge on Southeast Asia. We'll look at different technologies and markets, and also have a discussion on COVID-19 in the key industries of Southeast Asia. In our pro session, we'll include that plus the integration of the edge with new technologies such as 5G, Industry 4.0, and artificial intelligence, and even have a bonus session on the edge and cybersecurity. And then finally, in our expert levels courses, we'll look at edge systems and deployment. We'll look at all the different infrastructure and devices, even review some use cases, and then discuss considerations for investment. So please visit our website at www.olympiaic.com/edge workshop and sign up today. Thank you.